Relax, man. Calm down. Oh yeah, I'm started, man.
You weren't even supposed to.
Can y'all hear me?
Con, I hear you out.
All right, we live.
Yeah, Con.
All right, we good then. Con? I don't know if y'all live on y'all end. Are we good?
Yeah, Shalom. We good, Elder. We live right now.
Okay, Con. All right, Con. We get this nonsense out. I'm still learning this thing myself, y'all. All right, y'all here? Can y'all hear me?
Con, I hear you.
All right, are we on live? We on live. We on live. Shalom. We on live.
Yeah, we live right now, Con.
Okay. All right. Still figuring this thing out, y'all. Salakia. Shabbat Shalom, family. Shalom. Yahabah Shem Yahweh Shabakatham to the Akim. Yahabah Shem Yahweh Shashawatan to the Akwafium. Salakia, a lot going on. Israel, man, let's pray for each other, man. Pray for each other. A lot of sickness, death, affliction. You know, we in the last days, so let's keep each other prayed up. So we here. Late start, so this is probably gonna have to be a two-part class because I got a lot I want to bring out, and being that we starting a little later, well maybe I could hopefully be able to sneak a good portion of the class in. So without further ado, familiarity breeds contempt. All right, familiarity breeds contempt. What does the Bible say about that statement? All right, going all the way back, I believe it goes all the way back to the Greeks. With the parable of the lion and the fox, if I'm not mistaken. Put that meaning up, Arya. Familiarity breeds contempt. Put up that AI meaning that I sent to you, part 1 and part 2, or it may be 3 parts. Put the first one up. All right, so we're going to deal with how the scriptures, how the statement familiarity breeds contempt, how it deals with the scriptures, what dynamics the scripture goes into when it deals with this topic. Shout out to my our brother Shemaiah. Most High took him back to the spirit realm, but the brother would always say that to me. He would always say, Elder, you know, a lot of times the backlash that you and Elder Torah get is because of familiarity breeds contempt. All right, the more people get to know you or think they get to know you, let's keep that in mind. The more people think they know you, they start to lose respect for you. All right, blow that up on the screen. little bit more? If you can, yeah, the beginning part. All right. Read that for me, that first part.
Con. Familiarity breeds contempt. Means that knowing someone or something too well can lead to a loss of respect, admiration, or appreciation. It stems from the tendency to stop valuing what is readily available or to focus on the flaws through excessive, monotonous exposure. It is often used to describe romantic, personal, or workplace relationships becoming dull or strained.
Right. So one of the things I want to point out there is familiarity breeding contempt. Like I said, it's when someone or something becomes too familiar, or you believe too familiar with you, and you start to lose respect or appreciation. I want to harp on that also. You start losing respect because it's becoming so familiar to you. You used to it. And that happens with this truth. That happens with leadership. That happens with brothers and sisters. That happens with camps. That's why you see a lot of camps split up. Because that familiarity, it brings lack of respect and appreciation. And what happens is when you don't appreciate something or someone or something, what happens? You start to take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start taking it for granted, you start losing respect for it, and it becomes unvaluable. You start to devalue it because you get used to it. Just like a car, a house, anything. People say, I got a house, but I don't like this house. I want a newer house. I've been in this house for 20 years. You got a car. I've had this car for 10 years. I want another car. You in a relationship, a marriage. I've been married for 30 years. I need something new. People do that. You become used to something so much, you start to lose respect for it or that person, and you start to devalue and not appreciate that person or thing. Kind?
Con.
And a lot of times you think you know somebody. You think you're familiar with somebody. Because a lot of times people lose respect for people they really don't know. You think you know them. And what's the key thing? You see flaws. Every human being has flaws. So we're going to show you some examples with Yahushai, which was one of the greatest examples of familiarity breeding contempt. The people thought, oh, we know him. That's Jesus of Nazareth. That's the carpenter's son. We're going to get into a little bit of all of that. It turns into a lack of appreciation or value or respect. Read on the meaning.
Origin. Often attributed to Aesop's fables, The Fox and the Lion, or associated with religious texts, such as Yahushua noting a prophet is without honor in his own town.
Khan, we're going to get into that. Read on.
Core concept. As familiarity with a person increases, the likelihood of finding faults or taking them for granted rises.
Right. Read that part again, Gabar Ash.
Gone.
That last part again.
Core concept. As familiarity with a person increases, the likelihood of finding faults or taking them for granted rises.
Right. The more you know somebody or you get familiar with them, so you believe or you think you know them, the likelihood that you see their flaws. Salakia, read that last part again, Salakia.
As familiarity with a person increases, the likelihood of finding faults or taking them for granted rises.
Right. The likelihood of finding fault or taking that person for granted rises. And that can be as many, remember, LLD, levels, layers, and dynamics. It can be a person, a relationship, a leader, somebody you courting or getting to know, a friend, a family member. I mean, it goes on so many different levels. The more familiar you become, it's a likelihood that you stop respecting that person, or you look at their flaws, or you see things about them, and what happened, you start to lose respect. All right, read on. The next part of that AI meaning. So everybody get the concept so far, right?
Con.
And this happens. This happens a lot with Israel. This happens with us as a people, in the truth, everything. We start to take each other for granted, and we see flaws. We get too comfortable. We start thinking we know each other, or maybe you do know this person, and you start to have a lack of respect. And you shouldn't do that, especially in the truth. If a brother or sister is trying to serve the Most High and Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability, they're going to have flaws. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to have shortcomings. You should still have that respect for them as a fellow brother or sister in this truth. From a leader on down to the newest, youngest brother that come in the faith.
Con.
Newest, youngest brother or sister that comes in the faith. It should be that same level of respect. Now, of course, you might have an elder, a senior man. Certain people are on different levels, but that general respect and love for your fellow Israelite as a nation, that should always be there. Don't get too familiar with a brother or sister. You start to take them for granted, or you start to lose respect for them. Don't get too familiar with your job. You start taking it for granted, because the Lord will take that job and you don't have nothing now. Don't get too familiar with that house or that car or that closet full of clothes or whatever. You better learn to appreciate what you do have. If you want more, work hard, do it in the spirit, and be appreciative and humble, but don't take it for granted because it's just there. Don't let that familiarity with it. Oh, my house always going to be there. My car always going to be there. My job always going to be there. That brother always going to be there. That sister going to be there. No, you better appreciate it and do different things to show your appreciation to the Most High while you have it. Because you get too comfortable because you're so familiar with it, you take it for granted. A person, a place, or a thing. Read on.
Con. Examples. Couples in long-term relationships may lose appreciation for each other.
Right.
Or in
Salakia. We're going to get into that a little bit later. I'm tired of this nigga. Right? This woman get on my damn nerves. God, it happens. It happens. God?
Con.
You ever seen somebody, like, even growing up in the world, we see it on TV, so whatever, people just get bored and frustrated with their relationships. Just because they've been with the same person for a long time. Instead of trying little new things, learning to appreciate each other, keeping up that same energy from when you first met each other. That year or two you was putting up, you was on your best behavior, so nice and sweet and everything. After that year or two, the real you come out. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, damn. Your wife would be like, damn, baby, you don't give me flowers no more. When we first met, before we was in together, you got me flowers every day. Now you don't, dog. I got the one. I got her now. That's my woman already. That's my wife already.
Right.
Damn, babe, you used to cook, you used to serve me. You were so good with that. What happened? That familiarity, or flaws come in, or familiarity breeding contempt cannot always be, it's not always a bad thing, because sometimes you can show people things about you that they get used to and they get turned off. That can happen also. So read on.
Couples in long-term relationships may lose appreciation for each other, or employees may lose respect for managers they see daily.
Right. A lot of times people do it with authority. I know from being a leader in this truth. Brothers and sisters, I hear it all the time. Brothers and sisters, they get comfortable with you, especially if you down to earth and you accessible, you 10 toes down, you hands on. They start taking you for granted. They get too comfortable. Right, go ahead.
Psychological drivers, desensitization due to repetition can lead to boredom and a decline in positive emotional responses.
Right. A lot of times it's just general boredom. People get used to people and they get used to places and things and they just get bored. It's the same thing. Remember, earlier up we read monotony or monotonous. Like Will Smith said in Summertime. Just a little something to break the monotony.
Monotony. Right.
You know what I'm saying? People get tired, they get bored, they get, especially Israel. Israel, a lot of times, Israel don't even know why they want something new or somebody new or want to do something new. They just tired of the same thing. The familiarity, it starts to turn them off because they just so used to it and they start to lack appreciation for it. You know, I talk about relocation a lot of times. A lot of times people just want to get up and go just because they don't even know why they want to do it. Especially with a city like New York, I've seen hundreds. I be walking down the street laughing at people. They be like, "Why you laughing?" Because I said I knew you would be back. Or like, I can't stand New York. I gotta get out of here. And what? 2, 3, 4 years later, they back. Oh, I went to such and such, but it ain't like New York, man. At least I could hustle here. I got family here. I could survive, you know. Why? Because when you got up and left, it's not like you relocated for a job or a family or a certain situation. You did your due diligence. All right, this city is a little bit better for what I need, whatever. You just got bored. You just got tired of the same scenery. And there's really nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times when you do things like that with no valid reason or nothing solid behind it, it don't work out. You just bored and wanted something new, and it just didn't work out. Right, go ahead.
Criticisms. The phrase is not universally true. Studies and common experience show that familiarity can also foster deeper love, intimacy, and trust.
Right. A lot of times familiarity doesn't always breed contempt. Familiarity can breed respect because people, they do know you or they are used to something and it's reliable. You know what I'm saying? It's like you've been doing business with a person for 25 years and you kept it the same. You've been the same that whole 25 years. That person is familiar with you, so you're reliable. So that familiarity or being known is not always a bad thing. It can also be a good thing. Go ahead.
Right. Alternative view. It is not necessarily familiarity that breeds contempt, but rather the failure to maintain a positive connection and appreciation.
Go ahead.
Avoiding familiarity breeds contempt. Create space. Nurture individual hobbies and maintain personal boundaries. Cultivate appreciation. Focus on the positive attributes of a partner or situation rather than taking them for granted.
Oh, that's it on that?
Done.
All right, so now go back to the top meaning, Aria, of familiarity breeds contempt. So we're gonna get into the examples, some examples in the scripture with Yahweh and the prophets. Read that one more time from the top.
Done. Familiarity breeds contempt, means that knowing someone or something too well can lead to a loss of respect, admiration, or appreciation. It stems from the tendency to stop valuing what is readily available or to focus on the flaws through excessive, monotonous exposure. It is often used to describe romantic, personal, or workplace relationships becoming dull or strained.
All right, go to so let's start with St. John chapter 1, and we're gonna start at 29. All right, let's start with Yahushua. Now, Yahushua was what? He was born in Bethlehem, but he was raised in Nazareth. Now, we're going to show you that Nazareth was not respected because it was known, or people were familiar with it, for kind of being like the hood. We're going to show you that in a minute. I don't want to jump the gun, but they didn't respect the city of Nazareth. That's where Yahushua was brought up. All right, but let's go to St. John 1 and 29. Let's start with that. Read that.
It's the book of John, chapter 1, verse 29. They're gonna pull it up on the screen or no?
St. John 1:29. Y'all gonna put it up? All right, St. John 1:29. All right,
it's the book of St. John. It's the book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 29. The next day, John seeth Yahushua coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away the sin of the world.
Right, it said, Behold, the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world. The world is Israel. But eventually, all the nations going to bow down and serve the power of Israel. So sin is going to be taken out of the earth completely when Yahweh shall make his second return. But he first came to take away sin from Israel so we could repent and become the chosen nation again. And then eventually the whole world, meaning all the nations going to bow down, but Israel first coming back into power. Then we make the nation serve the Most High. Read on.
This is he of whom I said, After me cometh a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me.
Go ahead.
And I knew him not, but that he should be made manifest to Israel. Therefore am I come baptizing with water.
Right, so Yahweh had to be made manifest to Israel. Israel. That was the world he came to take away the sin from. But yes, eventually it's going to be all nations, but there is a racial hierarchy and there is an order to how everything is going to happen. So Israel first. Read on.
And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. And I knew him not, but he that sent me to baptize with water, the same said unto me, Upon whom thou shalt see the Spirit descending and remaining on him, the same is he which baptizeth the Holy Spirit.
God.
And I saw and bear record that this is the Son of the Most High.
Right, so many people through the Spirit, they knew who Yahweh was. And if they didn't know, eventually the Spirit showed them. Read on.
Again, the next day after John stood, and two of his disciples, and looking upon Yahushua as he walked, he saith, Behold, the Lamb of the Most High.
Go ahead.
And the two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Yahushua. Then Yahushua turned and saw them following, and saith unto them, What seek ye? They said unto him, Rabbi, which is to say, being interpreted, Master, where dwellest thou? He saith unto them, Come and see. They came and saw where he dwelt, and abode with him that day, for it was about the 10th hour.
Right, about 4 p.m. Right, go ahead.
One of the two which heard John speak and followed him was Andrew, Simon Peter's brother.
Right, so
He
this is
first,
Andrew, one of the 12, Peter's brother. Go ahead.
he first findeth his own brother Simon and saith unto him, we have found the Messiah, which is, being interpreted, the Christ.
Right, so because Christ comes from Christos, which means anointed one, or Mashiach in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, or Messiah in the English, right? That's when we say Mashiach, meaning the anointed one, or the Christ, Christos. That's not Yahweh's last name. That was just a title given to him. All right, go ahead.
And he brought him to Yahushua. And when Yahushua beheld him, he said, thou art Simon, the son of Jonah, thou shalt be called Cephas, which is by interpretation a stone.
Right, because remember in Matthew 19, starting at 16, Yahushua told Peter, thou art that rock, and upon this foundation I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Even though Yahushua in Philippians 2, it tells you he's the chief cornerstone, but he said, under me, Peter's going to be that stone. So they knew through the Spirit, they knew who was who amongst themselves and certain people in the Spirit that can pick up on it. They appreciated who they were because they were sent from the Most High. Right? Come on.
The day following Yahushua would go forth into Galilee and findeth Philip and saith unto him, follow me. Now Philip was Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter.
Right, they were from a different city than Yahushua. They were from Bethsaida. Right, come on.
Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, we have found him, of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Yahushua of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.
See that? Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. We found the prophesied Messiah. Moses wrote about him in Deuteronomy 18:15, of course. A prophet from amongst the brethren will rise among you. Moses was prophesying about Yahushua all the way back in Deuteronomy. Right? Read on.
And Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip saith unto him, come and see.
Right. He said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Now pull up part 1 and part 2 of the AI definition of Nazareth. He said, what good can come out of Nazareth? All right, even though they knew about the prophecy, but they had doubt because what? They were familiar with Nazareth not being the best neighborhood. So that familiarity breeded contempt. We can't appreciate nothing that come out of Nazareth. Nazareth is full of flawed people. We can't appreciate that. So they thought they understood, wait a minute, this prophesied Messiah is coming out of Nazareth? So pull up the what they said about Nazareth. Check this out. Remember, Yahushua was born in Bethlehem, but he fled to Egypt, and then he went into Nazareth to fulfill the prophecy. Read that. Is that it? All right, read that. When you pull it up on the screen. It's going to say, I put in, was Nazareth considered the ghetto? So read that.
While not a ghetto in the modern legal sense, Nazareth was considered a despised, poor, and obscure village in first century Judea, often viewed as a ghetto or hood by contemporary standards.
See that? Yahushua was from the hood. So he said, nothing can come out, nothing good can come out of Nazareth. Right, go ahead.
Nathanael's famous question, can anything good come out of Nazareth, highlights its low social status, lack of importance, and reputation for being insignificant.
What does that sound like? Does that not sound like the hood today?
Khan. Bed
That's why
stop.
you got gentrification.
Con.
That sounds like the hood today, the insignificant neighborhoods. That's
Right.
why Philip said, can anything good come out of Nazareth? So the people already had contempt for Yahushua because he was raised in Nazareth. Back then, you had uppity Negro neighborhoods back like Capernaum, like we're gonna read about later. You had uppity, snooty, bougie Negro neighborhoods back then in Jerusalem. There's this dude from the hood, man, just like now. If our people come from a middle or upper class area, they look down on the hood. Not all the time. Some of them be like, I came from the hood and I made it up or whatever. Some of them don't look back. They start trying to be like Esau, but some of them be like, I come from the hood and I just made a better life. I wanted a better community for me and my children. Right, but it's letting you know. They look down on Yahushua because he was raised in Nazareth. Right, go ahead.
Why Nazareth was considered a ghetto, low status and poverty. Nazareth was an agricultural hamlet inhabited by farmers and laborers with few, if any, luxuries, contrasting heavily with the nearby affluent city of Sepphoris.
Go ahead.
Despised reputation. It was often viewed with contempt or indifference by other, more established Jewish regions.
Oh, you're going to get the next page. So y'all see, Nazareth was the hood. What we would call the hood today. It was not the best neighborhood. You had even other affluent Jewish Israelite neighborhoods, but Nazareth was on the bottom. It was on a lower level. All right, go ahead.
Significance in scripture. It was absent from Old Testament records and not considered a place of importance, making it an unlikely home for the Messiah.
See that? It was not considered, Nazareth wasn't considered a place of importance, so it was the unlikely place for the Messiah. How could the Savior of Israel come out of the hood? It's that
Right.
Nazareth was so insignificant, it wasn't even mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Right, go ahead.
Location. Situated in Galilee, which was already looked down upon by those in Judea.
Go ahead.
Significance of the branch. Many scholars note that Matthew 2:23 links Nazareth to the Hebrew word netzah, branch, suggesting it was ironic that the branch of David would come from a despised place.
Go ahead.
Proving ground. The obscurity of the village is often interpreted as part of the Most High's choice to use low and despised things.
All right, is more than that? Is it more than Nazareth? So, all right, hold right there. All right, I think it's one more page to Nazareth, or that's it. I know I didn't absolutely send them in order, Salakia. Go to but it used that word despise, right? Go to Isaiah 53:1 real quick. We're gonna go back to St. John. Isaiah 53:1.
Come, this is the book of Isaiah. And then go back to St. John's 1, 2. You want to stay in St. John?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to St. John.
All right.
I just want to show where it said Nazareth was a despised place. Let's see what Isaiah's prophesied about that. Read.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 1. Who hath believed our report? And to whom is the arm of the Most High revealed?
Right, who's going to receive and understand the prophecy? Right, go ahead.
For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of a dry ground.
Right, meaning Yahushai will come out of a place that's not very popular. All right, that's considered low, a dry ground, like a plant growing out of a dry ground. Like you can't
Right.
plant, you can't plant nothing there. That ground is dry. Showing the Most High can take. That's just the Most High showing off his power. I can take the least and despise and bring forth the greatest. Right? Come on.
He have no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him.
Right. Yahushua is a mean, stern-looking man. Right? Go ahead.
He is despised and rejected of men.
Go ahead.
A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and we esteemed him not.
See that? He was despised and we esteemed him not. Because why? Nazareth was a despised place. Just like now. Our people, people stereotype you from the hood. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times what? Some of the biggest celebrities, sports players, some of the biggest figures amongst our people, they come from the hood. Some of the most intelligent, everything. You know what I'm saying? Even with the hip hop. They can say whatever about hip hop, but hip hop started as nothing. Dudes was stealing electricity out of the light poles on the street, hooking up mixers and turntables and speakers and doing jams and parties. Now it's a multi-billion-dollar business industry, music genre. And dudes come out of the projects, dudes come out of the gutter, and they're multi-platinum selling artists now. They're lyrical genius, man. Coming from the worst, some of the worst, like my man Nas, QB. 96 project buildings on the borderline of damn Queens. I remember QB in the world. QB was no joke, man.
Right.
It was no joke out there. But what? Nas is considered one of the most lyrical geniuses. Right. The man put together his metaphors and his lyrics like he's up there with the GOATs. But he come out of what? Out of the housing projects. Out of nothing, 19. Man.
Salaki at 19 years old, he was ahead of people.
Right. 19 years old. I remember seeing him as young as like 16, 17.
Right.
Because his name was buzzing in the street even before, he got up there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look at DMX, man. DMX had people crying at his concerts. And that man was from the gutter of Yonkers, robbing people with a dog. Man was sticking up people with a damn dog. And the man became one of the greatest, most respected. When I seen DMX, when he performed at one of them Woodstocks or whatever, and this man had a crowd of Edomite people going crazy over his music, I was like, damn, look at this. From the hood, from practically nothingness. The Jacksons, they grew up in Gary, Indiana, in the poor neighborhood.
Yeah, gone.
Look at them. Michael Jackson died. People committed suicide. So the Most High show, even though that's on a carnal level, he can take from nothing, because we're the salt of the earth. That's the jewel we have. But that was the example the Most High was using through Yahushua. I'm gonna take one of the worst considered neighborhoods in Israel. It's so bad there they don't mention it, and that's where the Messiah is gonna come out of. The area where the people were despised, that's what I'm going to bring the Messiah out of. Mm-hmm. So that familiarity bred contempt with Yahushua. Oh, they just some poor hood, low-down people. They don't even mention the town of Nazareth. It's despised. Nothing good can come from there, because they thought they knew. They thought they knew the city and knew the type of people that would come out of there. The Most High said, no, I'm going to show you my power by letting the greatest man that ever walked the planet come from one of the most despised cities in Israel. Right? Read on.
Verse 4. Verse 4. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted.
Come on.
But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
Right, because Yahweh died for the nation of Israel, right? Like it tell you in Revelation 1 and 5, he washed us from our sins in his own blood. So just showing you, he was despised because he came from a place that was despised. So a lot of times people think they know, or you know, ain't nobody good coming from no Nazareth. And the Lord said, look, I'm going to make you a liar and show you my son, the Mashiach, the Messiah came out of Nazareth. Go back to St. John 1. God. Go back to St. John 1 and 46.
It's the book of St. John, chapter 1, verse 46.
Good.
So they put it on the screen. There you go. Okay, Khan.
And let me know, is there more to the Nazareth article? Let me know if there's more to that.
Yeah, there's no more.
St. John, chapter 1, verse 46.
Oh, Salaki, there's no more to the article, right?
Yeah, there's no more to it.
All right, go ahead, King.
Khan. And Nathanael said unto him, can there any good thing come out of Nazareth? Philip say unto him, come and see.
He said, come and see. You don't think nothing good can come out of Nazareth? Come and check this out. Good.
Yahushua saw Nathanael coming to him and saith of him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no guile.
Right, because Yahweh already knew Nathanael was going to be called. So they questioned it like, can anything come, right? Anything come out of Nazareth? Yahweh like, look, all right, there go Nathanael, an Israelite indeed, in who there's no guile. I know this the man that the Most High going to use. Right, come on.
Nathanael saith unto him, whence knowest thou me? Yahushua answered and said unto him, before that Philip called thee, when thou wast under the fig tree, I saw thee.
Good.
Nathanael answered and saith unto him, Rabbi, thou art the Son of the Most High. Thou art the King of Israel.
See that? I said, look, because they had to understand, unlike them, Yahweh was being fed by the Spirit. The Most High was speaking through him and showing him things. Unlike the people who had a preconceived notion and thought they knew something or thought they know, oh, ain't nobody good coming out of Nazareth. Speculated, no, Yahweh knew. He said, I already knew. I saw you under the fig tree. The Most High showed me that he was going to call you and use you as one of his disciples. Then the man would say, thou art the Son of God, the King of Israel. God?
God. Yahushua answered and said unto him, because I said unto thee, I saw thee under the fig tree, believest thou? Thou shalt see greater things than these.
Yahushua said, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Right.
Because I told you I saw you under the fig tree, and I saw you, I read your spirit. You ain't seen nothing yet. Watch the miracles that the Most High used me to do. You're going to really see. Thou art the Son of God, the King of Israel. Right? So what? That's a case of what? The Jews require a sign. But a lot of times our people have that doubt because they think they know. They think they familiar. And to the Most High got to show them. Same thing going to happen with a lot of us. A lot of us come out of what? Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, East New York, Detroit, the south side of Chicago. All right, Inglewood, South Central Los Angeles, the west side of Atlanta, right? Southeast DC, wherever you come from. You come from some of the roughest, worst hoods, man. But what? The Lord called you into this truth, and now what? You out there confounding the world. Coming out of gangs, coming out of the street life, drugs. Right? Some brothers was about that unalive game. All that. Brothers come from all different walks of life. Grimy, gritty. Now what? You serving the Most High and doing the work. So as society judge you as just a criminal, oh, that's a bad neighborhood. Nobody good. Oh, they all criminals there. Don't even go there. Don't even mention that neighborhood. And the sons of the Most High, the servants, prophets, and teachers are coming from these areas on the earth.
Right.
Even in other countries. There's brothers, you know, they from bad parts of the UK, the hoods in the UK. And what? The Most High called them into this truth. They from the hoods of whatever country they in. The bad part of this place or that place. Certain brothers from Issachar, from damn cartel cities in Mexico. All right, but what? The Most High called them into this truth. Right? So society or people in general think they're familiar, but what you think you're familiar with, you don't appreciate, you think is flawed, the Most High can bring the kings and princes of this earth out of those areas. Right, go ahead.
And he saith unto him, verily, verily, I say unto you, hereafter ye shall see heaven open, and the angels of Yahweh ascending and descending upon the Son of Man.
Right, so it's just letting you know, Nazareth was not the most greatest place that they looked upon. And who came out of there? The Messiah. So the familiarity, breeding contempt was already there because he was from Nazareth. Go to St. Matthew 13. Go to St. Matthew 13 and start at 54. St. Matthew 13. Yeah, 13:54.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 54. And when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished and said, whence hath this man this wisdom and these mighty works?
Right, when he came into his own country or amongst people from his city that knew him, yo, who is this guy? How he got this wisdom and his mighty works? Right, go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter's son?
Isn't that Joseph's son? You know what I'm saying? And I've had people say that from me that I knew growing up. Oh, you some kind of prophet now? Right, because they think they know you. And some of them do know you from your past life, but that was before you repented in Yahushua.
Right.
They know you when you had what? Your flaws. They knew you when you was in your sin. They knew you was in your wickedness. They probably seen you. Some of them know your darkest secrets. They seen you at your lowest point of sin and evil when you was in the world. Isn't that such and such son? I know him. Well, he got that turban on his head now, like he's some kind of prophet. Why he dressed like that in some Middle Eastern gown? What's that? Who do you think he is now? Same thing with Yahushua. Right? Read it again. 55.
Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And his brethren James and Joseph and Simon and Judas?
Yeah, isn't that Judas, brother? Isn't that Judah, brother? I know him. I remember him. What is he? He got all this wisdom and doing these mighty works now? Right, good.
And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then hath this man all these things?
Right, we know him, or we think we know him. Familiarity breeds contempt. Who this Negro think he is? That's Jesus from up the block. That's Joseph's son. That's Mary's son. I know his sisters, and I know his whole family. We ain't talking about some prophet, some man of wisdom. Now, he got all this knowledge now. Right, go ahead.
And they were offended in him.
They were actually offended in him. And that's how a lot of our people are, man. And in general, a lot of our people are like that. Remember on the Passover, we read the story where Moses, he killed an Egyptian that was smiting a Hebrew, and then he went and told the brothers, wait a minute, y'all are brethren, why y'all fighting amongst each other? And what did they say? Who made you a judge of us? Nigger. That's the part the scriptures left out.
Right.
You a Negro just like us. You a Hebrew just like us. You're not our judge. Our people, we just feel we know each other, so I ain't gotta respect. That familiarity breeds contempt. Is on a high level with us as a nation. We figure I don't gotta respect you because you're me. Remember the movie 5 Heartbeats? He said he ain't gonna be ish because I ain't ish. And that's how people look at each other. You can't tell me ish because you're a nigga just like me. Familiarity breeds contempt. I don't respect you. I don't appreciate you because I don't respect and appreciate myself. Same
That's
concept.
crazy.
Right, read on.
God. And they were offended in him. But Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country and in his own house.
Yeah, a lot of times the people that think they know you or closest to you, they take you for granted. They don't appreciate you. Familiarity breeds contempt. They get too comfortable with you. They get to know you too good. They get too close to you, and they don't appreciate you, and they lose respect for you. Same thing right here. They was like, man, who this cat think he is? He breaking down scriptures. He doing mighty works. And who this cat think he is? He ain't nobody. So what happened? They devalued Yahushua because they thought they was familiar with him and his family. Right, go ahead.
And he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief.
Right, he did. Now, he didn't do a lot of ways. It's like, man, y'all don't believe. The hell with y'all. I'm shaking the dust. I'm not showing y'all nothing. I'm not healing people here. Y'all don't believe, I'm out of here. I'm going to go where my works are appreciated. And sometimes you got to do that, unfortunately. Sometimes, not all cases, but sometimes strangers look out for you better than your own people. People you barely know. Because they're, huh?
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
Right.
I'm being nice. Gabar Ash brought it on home. Most of the time. I've witnessed that. I've had that. I've been to cities where Hebrews I know for years and Hebrews I barely knew. The treatment was totally different. I've been to cities where Hebrews I barely, oh, Elder Zabach, you coming here? Yo, man, don't worry about nothing when you come here. And I didn't even take advantage of it none. I'm like, nah, I'm good. No. Yo, you need to ride somewhere? You need anything? Yo, you ain't doing nothing while you in my city. The Hebrews I knew for years barely called me and checked on me. Didn't even see them when I was in a city. Oh, yeah, I heard you was here, Elder. I saw that, but, no call, no show, no. Oh, Elder, you in town? Let me holler at you. Complete strangers or people that I might know a little bit online, they were more appreciative. A lot of times it's like that, man, because the more you get to know or somebody think they know you, they take you for granted. They don't appreciate you. Right? And that goes on many levels. Right? Go ahead.
That's it on that.
Oh, yeah, he said, and he did not many mighty works there because of their unbelief. Yeah. Right? I was like, the hell with y'all, man. I'm going to go where I'm appreciated. I'm going to go where this work is valued. Okay?
God.
Go get the other account of that. That same account, but it's in Mark. It gives a little bit more detail. Mark 6:1. Go to St. Mark 6:1. So yeah, don't get caught up in that spirit. The more you know somebody, the more you should appreciate them.
That's right.
Right? Flaws or not, man. People are going to have flaws. People are going to have weaknesses. But like I tell you, when one of the dynamics with familiarity breeding contempt one of the dynamics is sometimes people look for things to have contempt with you for because they got an agenda. They looking to see you slip. They looking for your flaw. They're going to point out anything wrong that you do because they're looking for stuff. They're trying to find something to have on you. That's another level of familiarity breeding contempt. People want to know more about you so they can have more flaws and dirt on you. And anything you do wrong, they might have a damn list. They're going to keep a damn list. Anything, any slip up you do, any little thing you do, they're going to record it and they're going to use it against you because they want to have that contempt for you because of jealousy, envy, competition.
Yeah.
It just don't like you, want to move you out of the way. Oh man, I'll have to do a whole nother lesson of just my personal experiences in the truth and in the world with our people. Because we shady and shysty with each other, man. Dudes want to get you out of the way, so they're going to scheme and plot, and anything they can get on you, any flaw that they can use against you, any weakness, any sin, any shortcoming, they're going to use it against you. Some people purposely look to have contempt against you. They purposely want to know all they can know about you to get things on you. Okay?
Gone.
Right? So St. Mark 6:1. They picking up in the spirit. Your ass is looking for something. I see right through. You're looking to have something. You know what I'm saying? And you got to watch that spirit. And we can't have that spirit. Like I said, the more familiar we are with each other, we should learn to love and appreciate each other more. The fact that we know that we can know each other is a blessing. I'm going to look at a weakness a brother got or a flaw or whatever, and I'm going to lose respect for him. No, I'm going to say, hey, the brother got to work on that. Or that's just something, that's just something, hey, he's a little weak in that area. That's just how many men might say, hey, my wife ain't the best cook, but I love her anyway? You know what I'm saying? Well, Israelite woman better know how to cook, but you know what I'm saying? You learn, it's a whole nother level of love when you learn to appreciate and love each other and people in spite of their flaws. You don't look to use their flaws and weaknesses and sins and shortcomings against them. That's a wicked nigga or a negress. They're looking to use things against you instead of saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to help them get better in that area. I'm going to pray they get better in that area. That's something they need to work on. Or they may not fully get that right one day. I'm going to love them anyway for the person that they are because they got other good attributes about them. That's a whole nother level of love and patience with each other. So read that, St. Mark 6:1.
It's the book of Mark, chapter 6, verse 1. And he went out from thence and came into his own country, and his disciples follow him.
He said, let me go back to the hood and see what these Negroes up to. Let me go try to teach them and heal them and give them the gospel. Go ahead.
And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach in the synagogue, and many hearing him were astonished, saying, from whence hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are wrought by his hands?
Right, because the Jews require a sign. So not only was Yahushua showing the wisdom, he was showing the mighty works and the healing. Again, this is the same account like Matthew 13, but it's from Mark's account. Who is this guy? How did he get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and power to do these? We know this dude. We know his family. We know him. Right, go ahead.
Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, the brother of James and Joseph, and of Judah and Simon?
Right now here, it calls Yahushua the carpenter because naturally he learned the trade from his father. Right, go ahead.
And are not his sisters here with us? And they were offended at him.
Right, we know this guy. He can't be. And a lot of times with the dynamic of familiarity breeding contempt, people get mad because they know you or because y'all came up. That's why a lot of times when there's a homicide, the first people that are investigated are the people that's close to the person. Because a lot of times, what? The familiarity breeds contempt. It builds up, the jealousy builds up, the envy. And a lot of times, even like these success stories, a lot of times the people that betray the successful people are people that was close to them, they grew up with,
Right.
or the people around them. Because what? They get mad because they figure we come from the same place. How come I don't have what you have? How come I ain't make it like you? I should have what you. We come from the same place. The familiarity. We're the same. Wait a minute. How come I'm not? But what happens is what the Most High have for that person, he may not have for you. Whatever your gifts and talents are, what concentrate on what the Most High want to give you. Most High, he give to who he give accordingly. Some people got a better work ethic than you. You might have neglected the gift you had, or you was lazy or slothful, or you didn't hustle hard enough, or whatever the case may be. Or you're blessed in another way, but you're so busy looking at the other person's blessings because what? Familiarity. I know him. I know her. We came up together. Who the hell he think he is? Who the hell she thinks she is? She come from where I come from. That's another level of that familiarity breeding contempt. Read on.
Verse 4. But Yahushua said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and in his own house.
And in his own house. And like Gabar I brought out earlier, majority of the time, it be the people that you think supposed to be the closest to you. And a lot of times it be the strangers that don't be on nothing. And it be the people closest to you that'll stab you in the back, or the people that think they know you, or the people that came up with you, or whatever the case may be. Me and Tara could tell y'all about that. Being younger men coming up from 1 West, you know, when we start getting older and start running camp and doing the work and bringing in fruit and things of that nature, we got shade from some of our older brothers in 1 West. I'll tell y'all a quick story. We was teaching on 34th Street one night, on Friday night, and on 34th Street. Sister came up with her daughter, and she was just listening to the camp. She was listening. I came down from speaking. She pulled me to the side. She said, "Hey, brother, shalom. How you doing? I just want to come over and introduce myself. Me and my daughter, we're kind of new to the truth." She said, "We came all the way up from Baltimore, Maryland, but they was dealing with Comfy in them school. But she said, we just happened to be in the city and we saw brothers teaching. And she didn't really understand about the different camps and all that. So I just talked to the sister, and nice looking sister. I'm saying that for a reason. Not that it's all about looks, but I'm saying that for a reason. Nice looking sister. Her daughter was a young, pretty girl. She had the jeans on, so the little tight jeans. Y'all already know. So y'all know where I'm going. There's a reason why I'm pointing that out. So I talked to the sister. We had a good conversation. I said, "Hey, sis, I think I gave the sister a flyer or whatever." And that was it. Didn't try to get with her, nothing like that. Whatever. So about a week or two later, we got into a big incident with this guy by the name of Haragaja. He was from Comfy in them school. He came down drunk to the camp and tried to confront us. He parked his Mercedes-Benz. He was drunk. Parked his Mercedes-Benz in the middle of the street on 45th and Broadway, in the middle of Broadway, and got out the car drunk and confronted us. And one of the things he said to me, he said, "I know you. I remember you. You was nobody in the school. You was a young trooper in the school. Now you think you somebody out here teaching?" I know. And that was because the sister had went back to him and told him, "I met a brother by the name of Zabach, whatever, last night teaching. Brothers, they was teaching and whatever." I guess she told him the experience. He got jealous and mad because I guess she was probably speaking highly of us in the camp. Because her and her daughter stood out there for a while listening. And she's just a sister. She kind of don't understand about the splits and all that. But she was there to visit them, but she just happened to run into our camp. And she went back and told him. And I guess she described me, because he mentioned her. He mentioned an incident when he was drunk and belligerent. I forgot exactly what he said. But to him, you was a little young trooper when you came into school. I remember you. You was a nobody. Now you think you running camp. And all that was partly because the sister went and spoke highly of me in a camp. She's a nice looking sister, and he started hating. But I wasn't in competition for the sister, nothing like that. I just taught her. And I think she mentioned she was there to visit the school. I said nothing negative about them or whatever. I just said, hey, we're a different camp. We're a different camp. We teach, but sis, continue to learn, whatever. It was, but him thinking he know me as a young man in the school from 1 West, his spirit's like, who the hell you think you are now? You know what I'm saying? So it's the same kind of spirit. But I wasn't tripping on the sister. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I think I seen him. Later on I seen him with the sister, like later on that summer or something, because I remember how she looked, and she was with him in the car. He probably was trying to get with her, and whatever she went back and said about me, he got jealous. So he got drunk and came down and confronted the camp. And brothers was going to wash him, but I stopped him. Brothers was going to wash him, and some gangster Jakes from Kansas City. They was from Kansas. They was going to take his Benz, because he left the Benz in the middle of the street with the key in it. They were going to take his car. And I stopped them brothers, and I stopped the brothers from, I said, he's drunk. He's out of his mind. Leave the brother alone. They hemmed him up and got him up out of there. And I told the brothers, nah, don't wash him. Because they was going to rock him. Brothers going to rock him. He a big dude, but brothers going to rock him out. But my point being, he thought he was familiar with me. So that familiarity breeded his contempt. Like, nigga, who are you? You was a young trooper in 1 West. Now you out here with your own camp thinking you doing something, and you got my chick that's trying to join my school that I'm trying to get with, and she's speaking highly of you. That's how people are, man, even in the truth. So that's a little story of familiarity breeding contempt. And Tarak told me many stories of brothers he ran into from 1 West, and brothers talking slick and saying little disrespectful, condescending stuff, almost like who you and Zabach think y'all are now, running this House of Israel camp. So that's another form of familiarity breeding contempt. I remember when y'all was young shorties. Now y'all think y'all getting up there. What, we supposed to stay 25 forever? Eventually we're going to be 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. At 50, you reach your eldership. So if you ain't doing nothing for the work and having some kind of influence on something, then what the hell you been doing the last 30 years? So eventually you got to elevate and grow. I can't stay a young trooper in Israel in 1 West forever. But there was a lot of shade from brothers because they felt like we knew y'all when y'all was shorties. Now y'all elder men now, doing the work and guiding Israel. So the hate, the familiarity with breeds contempt comes from that also. So read on.